I'm Craig Guest, and welcome to Electrical Technology.
Hello, Mr. Guest. What are some of the technical skills that students learn in your program?
The technical skills that are really important and for students to learn is I have a good math background. We focus on a lot of mathematics in the program with circuit theory, basic DC circuits, and some of the more complex circuits and the equipment that we get into. Some of the skills they're going to learn starting out are going to be splicing skills, working with different types of wiring. I have a few samples of extension cords and things out over here on the table. Students are doing a lot of splicing, soldering in the beginning, and focusing on a lot of safety. Another important thing to consider is we spend a lot of time on safety, and that's really paramount in the program to keep students safe. So in the first year, they're spending a lot of time doing that in addition to basic electrical skills. Some different types of splices that they learn how to make are basic wire nut splices. This is a bug splice or a split bolt connector splice. Students learn wiring on extension cords, different types of wiring devices like that. Also, they're going to be focusing on getting checked off on power tool safety, so they'll spend a lot of time working on different power tools, basically first level students. For the second, third level, start to get into different residential wiring projects. Over here we have a multitude of different residential projects where students are going in and learning how to work on circuits that include NM wiring, Romex cable we call it, working inside of panels, terminating and connecting devices and trimming out. Over here we have switches already installed in receptacles, so they learn how to work with different types of switches and receptacle circuits. If we move over to the other side, my upper level students, third or fourth level students, are practicing a lot of what we call NOCTI projects. NOCTI is National Occupational Competency Testing Institute. It's a testing or certification that the kids get when they graduate from my program. As a senior, if they're a two-year completer, they'll have to take this testing, so we practice different projects that will lead them to be successful during this intense testing. So if you take a look in here, you can see some of the things. They're working on combination of residential type wiring, also some commercial wiring where they're using some metal clad cable, what we call MC, and electrical metallic tubing, and wiring it into panels. Not only do residential wiring with the wooden studs, but we also have some steel studs to simulate commercial wiring as well.
Do students typically go right into the workforce, or do they continue on with their education?
Most of my students go into the workforce. We have a really good cooperative education placement record here in the program. This year we have all the upper level seniors are actually going to be out on co-op as of January. So hopefully they will remain with their contractor when they graduate, or some of them may want to go on to apprenticeships. I encourage them to try to get some type of an apprenticeship rather than going to a technical school necessarily, unless they need that extra training. But while they're in an apprenticeship, it's a training that they're not paying for, and they're actually getting paid while they're working and going to school as well. So I mean, that's really the best of all worlds, where you're having somebody else pay for your education. So typically most of my students are going right to work.
So what is the biggest misconception about your program?
Probably the biggest misconception is that you just come in and work with your hands. We do a lot of theory, a lot of upper level theory on circuits and how everything functions. We talked about a little bit earlier when you came in, and that's an important thing to know, that it's not just working with your hands, it's working with your head and being smart about your work. So it's a combination of both hands-on and theory. Electrical construction is basically the highest paid construction trade throughout the nation, but it's a little bit harder to learn, so there's a lot of theory that goes with it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that was really good.